What's up, everybody? Welcome back. My name's Chef Isabel and I'm with Curate Food Service, and you're here for episode 2 of the sauce series, like I told you guys before. So today we're actually going to switch it up a little bit, and instead of sort of going through like how we make our sauces and like all the thought and love that sort of goes into it on the back end, today we're going to show you guys some untraditional ways to utilize some of our sauces and stretch its versatility a little bit and have some fun. So without further ado, let's get into Alfredo. Our Alfredo is honestly really near and dear to like my little culinary heart, because it's one of a great example of ours where, you know, a client, customer came to us and said, you know, I need an Alfredo, but I need it under these parameters. I need it, you know, stable. I need it packed a certain way. I need it at a certain price point. So we took those parameters and worked our way backwards, and we came out at the other end with a great product that like doesn't taste anything else different from the shelves, but you're gonna get, you know, you're saving your labor on it, you're saving your costs on it, and it's just a great product. So anyhow, I'll stop rambling. It's fantastic, near and dear to my heart, but let's get going. So the fun ways we're gonna utilize our Alfredo first. I have, you know, just like an average spaghetti squash here. I'm gonna cut it on the end, just so you always wanna make sure you have a non-wobbly surface to cut. Like this is just gonna keep rolling if I let it. So I just like to shave off a little on one side. It could literally be nothing, that much. And then that way, that guy's not gonna go anywhere when I actually start to really cut into it. So that's step one. And now we're just gonna slice it in half. So best way to slice anything big like this, like big squashes, butternuts, anything like that, poke right into the middle and go down until you hit the table, catch it on the table, and then just push down. Table's a little too tall for me. And then you just rotate it around. I promise I'm usually better at that. Woo! All right, so now we are just going to, I'm gonna scrape the guts out before I roast it, so please hold. Now that can all go right in my compost. Perfect. Now I have my 2 halves here, right? I like to brush mine with a little bit of olive oil. And if I'm just eating this, you know, straight, I would probably sprinkle it with a little bit of salt and pepper, but we're gonna have such an opportunity later to do that I'm not too worried about it right now. But, can't hurt, right? If you have it, go ahead, go nuts. So I just brushed the inside of that with just a little bit of olive oil, and I'm actually gonna invert them right here, like this. And they're gonna go into a 375-degree oven for like a half an hour to 45 minutes. Again, gonna depend on your oven, gonna depend on your squashes. It's just to make them tender, so you can honestly stick a fork, stick a knife in it, and as long as it's soft, you're all set. So let's do it. So while our spaghetti squash is roasting in there, let's just prep the rest of the veggies for our bake. So I have 2 shallots here. I have about a half a cup of sun-dried tomatoes, 1 squash, 1 zucchini, and then just some mini, oh, I shouldn't block it, mini portobellos. Like with anything, this recipe is gonna be what you make it. Like there's no right or wrong way to do this. So if you have a vegetable you don't like, leave it out. If you have a vegetable you want, throw it in. I feel like I preach about moisture a lot on this, but like the past few recipes, just be cautious of that. Like the reason I'm using the sun-dried tomatoes instead of regular is because tomatoes have so much water in them, and I don't really want like a runny bake, and I don't really want a runny sort of casserole, especially when we mix it with the sauce. So just being cautious of that. If you only want to use whole tomatoes, I would just suggest, like, you know, squeezing out some of the water or sauteing them or roasting them like we did with the quiche. It's a great way to get out moisture. So that's an easy way. So this is one of my shallots. I'm just cleaning them. I'm gonna show you what I'm gonna do with each of the vegetables, and then we'll buzz through it so you guys don't have to like sit in here and listen to me ramble. But we are just going to clean off the shallot. I'm going to give it a quick slice. Shallot, for those who are wondering, it's just a little bit of a more mild onion, a little bit sweeter. I like it for that reason. It's not as sort of pungent as an onion. I'm just gonna give this a quick julienne. That's what I'm doing with the shallot. Same with the sun-dried tomatoes. If you have a super dry sun-dried tomato, just throw it in some hot water for a few minutes. That'll actually tender them up a little bit. That's what I did with these ones. They're actually like pliable now, and they're soft and won't break anyone's tooth. So I'm just gonna run a knife through this one. I give myself a julienne on that as well, if you can see it. Perfect. Zucchini and squash. So I am not gonna do anything to these guys beforehand because I want them to have their integrity when that bake is done. So I'm actually going to cube them a little bit chunkier because I want them to still have their own texture. I want them to be their own vegetable. And I am not going to do any cooking before it gets its final bake with the sauce. Yes, they have moisture in them, but not enough where it's gonna like ruin my casserole. So I'm okay with this. We're okay, squashes, everything's fine. But I'm just gonna give them a dice about that big. And then the mushrooms, last but not least by any means, give them a quick clean. So that just means take the stem out, pop. And then I like to peel mine, so I actually just, let's see if I can. Hi everyone. So you're gonna take your fingers, and there's a little bit of a lip, and you're just gonna grab that lip and peel it off. It's like peeling a grape, like a lot easier. But it's gonna leave you with a clean mushroom, and you have to do a lot less cleaning. If you have any dirty spots, just check your mushrooms out afterwards, but you can hit them with a dry paper or a damp paper towel and you're all set. But I like to peel my little guys. So without further ado, I am going to buzz through all these veggies, and then we'll meet back here and we'll be able to assemble. So let's do it. So I'm just about done my veggies here. While I was cutting, I was thinking, if you wanted to set this up to be like sort of like a grab and go option too for like your clients, your customers, your guests, give these veggies just a little bit of a saute before, and they'll actually be soft enough so like a customer could take it home. Like if you were to pre-portion it into a container, a customer or a guest could just take it home and put it in their microwave. The cook wouldn't get done in the microwave with these veggies, so that's why I say just give them a quick roast or saute and throw them in, and then you're all set, and it's like they have a meal ready to go in their container. Love it. Love it. So that's all done. Like I said, I'm not going to give any cook on these guys, but I am actually going to saute my shallots just in a little bit of olive oil, salt, pepper, just because I don't want them to let off too much water. They have a little bit too much water for my liking today, so I'm going to let them cook off some of that. But other than that, we're going to meet up and assemble and then throw it in the oven. It's like that easy. Let's go. Okay, all of our veggies are all set now, so we are going to pretty much assemble and then throw her in the oven. So I have my squashes here that I roasted. They're all cooled now, and I just wanted to show everyone how I clean them out or how I use the flesh. So just take a fork, scrape the inside. For those of you who haven't worked with spaghetti squash, it literally crumbles like a spaghetti. I don't know if you can see it. So it really is fun. It's like a little bit of a play on like an Alfredo fettuccine. Just throw that in there. Sometimes it will call out in clumps, and just for like the purpose of the casserole, you really do want to make sure all the spaghetti squash strands are separated, but super easy. Throw this in there. Oven turn. Perfect. Right to the compost. So now we are going to go in with our, actually, I have a little clump in there. Where did you go? Yeah. So I'm going to go in with our sauteed shallot, our sun-dried tomato. And I really like the tomato in there because not that the vegetables are so bright and like sort of floral, but the tomato is going to give it such a nice like acidic bite to it, and it's going to cut through like the fat of the sauce really well. So I love how it works. And you're going in with my mushroom and squash and zucchini. And I wanted to add in just a little of fresh note. So I have some basil leaves that I picked here. And just like we did with our spring quiche, we're going to roll them sort of, how do we do roll it? We're going to roll it just sort of in like a burrito or a crepe, and then just shipping out it really quick into some nice ribbons. Like with the quiche, a little goes a long way because the basil is so floral, so love it. Put that right in there. I'm gonna go in with about like a half a cup of a mix of Parmesan and mozzarella. I just like how it sort of helps bind everything a little bit. The Parmesan offers a great bite. Going with that. Alfredo sauce. Alfredo's gonna be the glue and all the flavor to this great sort of casserole we have going on. Definitely should have measured that, but it's around a cup and a half. Just follow the recipe. Fortunately, I have all things in the kitchen, but it's definitely, you know, it's easier to add more than it is to, I guess I should have learned that lesson a little bit better. It's easier to add more than to take it out. So just do it by pieces if you feel like winging it. So now I'm just really gonna mix this together until it's all really nicely incorporated. I'm happy with the sauce amount that's in there, and then we're going to go right into a grease casserole dish. And of course, I'm going to top it off with some mozzarella and Parmesan cheese. This will give it a nice golden, crispy crust. All right, so right into the oven until it is bubbly and brown and golden and smelling up the place. It's gonna smell good. All right, guys, recipe number 2. We're going to do calzones a couple ways. I'm going to show you just 2 variations. But the fun part about this is that you're using Alfredo sauce instead of the red sauce. I like it. I'm not a huge red sauce lady, so I've always kind of leaned this way, but it's a great way to just sort of switch it up and like have some fun. So I have all my toppings ready. Pro tip. I'd be lying if I said I didn't roll out my dough and then, you know, run around the kitchen covered in flour, like trying to find everything that I wanted to put on my pizza. But just lay it all out. No mess. It's great. I have some salami here that I've julienned. That's gonna go in one of them. You know, shredded mozzarella, Parmesan. I actually have some pesto that I'm gonna mix in with Alfredo to give it a little bit of a, whatever that is. Our Alfredo sauce, a little bit of sauteed onion, and then just some grilled chicken strips. So now that all my toppings are ready, let's roll out the dough. Fingers crossed. Okay, so my doughs are pretty much rolled out. I just wanted to pause and show you guys one thing. So with a calzone, obviously you're gonna be folding it over and crimping the edges and everything like that. So I like to give my edges a little more TLC, just to make sure they're that much thinner, so when I fold them over, it's not like this huge hunk of dough. So I have a French rolling pin, which just, again, means they're tapered at the ends. So I just take sort of the edge and roll it along, because that just leaves me with a little bit of a thinner crust. And I find it works pretty well. So, anyway, we are going to start to assemble. So the first one I want to make is my salami one. So I'm gonna go down with our Alfredo sauce. Being sure to add a nice amount of Alfredo for your base, and then following up with a little bit of mozzarella. And then I'm going in with the Curate fully cooked grilled chicken strips, following up just a little bit of that salami that I had mentioned. You can crisp it before, but I like how it sort of melts into the Alfredo. A little bit more cheese, and now we're going to close it. So I plop it over, and then I'm going to sort of use a folding motion to create a rope edge along the edge. So you simply crimp up and down and work your way around the calzone, and that will create a nice little pocket for you. As the calzone sort of cooks, the sauce is going to heat up and give off some evaporation, so I'm just going to poke a small hole in the top. So that's one of them. Now let's go on to number 2. Number 2, I'm going to do the same thing with my edges. So for my second calzone, I'm starting again with my Alfredo sauce as the base, but this time I'm mixing in a nice spoonful of some pesto, any pesto that you'd like, and I just mix them in together on the actual calzone, and then I go in with some mozzarella cheese and again with the fully cooked grilled chicken. I went down with some sauteed shallot, a little bit of garlic, and now I'm going in with a little bit more cheese, doing the same fold as I did in the first along with the rope effect, working my way all the way around until my edges are all nice and sealed. I ended up having a hole in my calzone, so I was able to line that up for the topping, and now we're ready for the oven. Alright guys, so for my home oven, I just have them on a baking sheet with some parchment just because I don't want to deal with any stickage. I blasted my oven at 500 degrees and we're going to let 15 to 20 minutes. You just really want to check that the dough is all cooked through, especially in those thicker spots, that it's nice and golden brown, the whole 9, but you'll know what you're looking for. So Into the oven we go. Okay, we're on to our final recipe for the Alfredo sauce, and it's going to be a gnocchi tossed in the Alfredo with some seafood. So I just wanted to show you guys before we actually go over to the stove, I wanted to show you like my mise en place. Yeah, it is mise en place, I don't know what I'm cooking in. But anyway, I have some seafood here. I went with shrimp, calamari, and mussels. Curate actually offers like very wide varieties of either like mixed seafood that come packaged very similar to this. Unfortunately, I just didn't have access to it. I grabbed some mussels, the calamari that's just gonna be cleaned, and then I have some frozen shrimp. I am going to give these guys a very healthy rinse, so let me do that. Okay, so our fish is now all washed, all of our seafood. One more cleaning step I'm gonna take on each of them, and I just wanted to walk you guys through this piece.
So when cleaning your mussels, if you look up close, you'll see that some of them have sort of these straggly little beards hanging out from the meeting point between the two shells. You just sort of have to get in close with your fingers and pull that beard out. Very simple, just takes a little bit of time. Next, for your shrimp, I have here shrimp that are already deveined, but they still have their shells, so I'm just peeling the shell off, working from the back, and then sort of peeling the legs off as well. I personally like to leave the tail because it gives the shrimp a little bit more structure and also makes the size look that much larger. Next, I have my calamari. My calamari did come clean, so you do want to check to make sure all the cartilage is out of the middle. But other than that, give them a really good rinse. If you need to separate your tentacles from your actual squid, please do.
So I'm going to go through all of my seafood, finally clean them up, and then we'll run through one more mise en place step. Okay, so now that all of our seafood's clean here, I just have a few more pieces I want to show you just before we go over the stove because just know ahead of time. But these are gnocchi. I made mine at home because I didn't have Curates at my house. But Curate does have a great sort of ready to go option for you. They're fully cooked, you just have to thaw them and then give them a little bit of heat when you're ready to use them. So that's exactly what I did here. I made mine yesterday, froze them, so I'm doing the exact same process that you would be doing in your kitchens at your accounts. Froze them, throw them in some boiling water today, chilled them really well, and then tossed them in some oil so they're ready to hit the pan. I just wanted to take that freeze off of them. And then I'm going to go into my shallot first. I'm just gonna mince up one little baby shallot. So I have that shallot nice and julienne, and then I'm just gonna go in and mince some parsley because the pop of color is just great on the plate. So I'll throw some into the sauce while we're cooking and then also for garnish at the end as well. Have a nice little rough chop on my parsley. We are ready to go to the stove and get cooking. Okay, so now we are ready to start assembling. And like I said in the beginning, one of the best parts about this Alfredo is just the time that it saves you. It just takes the labor sort of out of pieces. And that's what this whole dish kind of does. Like you just need to have the pieces ready and then it's literally just kind of assembling it in the pan. So there is one trick to it. It's time management because you have so many different pieces that need different cooking times, different temperatures, things like that. So you want to make sure that you have it all ready to go and you know what order you're going to go in for attack because crucial. You don't want rubbery seafood, right? So actually the first thing I'm going to go in with is our gnocchi. They're super thick, they are chilled, so I want to make sure they're heated through. And I also really want like a nice, perfect golden color in them. Like, call me crazy, but sounds good. So I'm going to go into my gnocchi. Going. I'm starting to get the color that I want. They still have time in here while the other stuff's going, so I'm going to go in with my shrimp. And I'm going to go down with my shallots now too. Season every step. And now we're going to go down with almost the rest of it. So we're going to go down with some of my sliced calamari and also the tentacles because I like them. Throw those in there. And then our mussels. If you're using fresh mussels, like I said, you clean them really, really well. Make sure you take those beards out. And then when you're cooking them, just make sure that they open. If they don't open, you know it's a bad mussel, so you just want to pick it. that's pretty much good. What I'm really looking at now is the shrimp, because I know if my shrimp are cooked through, my gnocchi is probably gonna be ready. So, like I said, time management is the key, but it just takes practice. It just takes knowing your ingredients and knowing what you're going through. But that being said, I think we're ready to add our sauce. So, let's grab our Alfredo here. I'm gonna go in. Can you have too much Alfredo? Not sure. Do that and give it a really good toss. Love it, love it, love it. Hit it with some parsley. Oh, I wish you could smell. You know when like Food Network and they're like, oh, I wish you could smell this, but like, I wish you could smell this. All right, so we've reached the end of our sort of excursion with our Alfredo sauce today. I wish you guys could see just how this came out. It's just so... But I'm going to plate this up now.
I like to make sure all my seafood's on top, serve it up with some crispy breadcrumbs, and also a really nice toast point.
Ta-da!
Next up are the calzones. I have my salami and then also my pesto calzone. And slicing into it here, I'm going to see a great creamy sauce coming out of it with the chicken and then also all the mozzarella.
Like cheesy sort of goodness in there. I'm super happy.
Finally, our vegetable bake. I'm going to serve myself up a big serving of this. Cutting into it, you can see all your nice vegetables, the creamy sauce, and then smell all that floral basil.
Liking that. So good. And you can see, guys, that's the end of sauce video 2. I hope you guys had some fun today. Our sauces are meant to be used in a million different ways, and I just wanted to showcase a couple of them today. Our Alfredo, like I said earlier, was made geared towards customers' needs, what they needed within labor and pricing and flavor. And we wanted to make sure we honored those, but still honored our promise to be curating a great culinary experience across all boards. Keeping products versatile, making sure you guys can use them a bunch of different ways. And that's just what I'm looking to do in these videos here. So I'll stop rambling, let you guys get in the kitchen. Thank you guys so much for joining again today. We'll be back soon with another sauce episode and a bunch of fun things coming your way. But if you guys have any questions in the meantime, any questions about products, anything at all, technique, let us know. Just reach out to either Curate Food Service on Instagram, any avenue that you have. You can reach out to me, Chef Isabel Wilder. If you are making these recipes, please share with us by using the hashtag #InTheKitchenWithCurate. But other than that, we will see you guys soon. Thank you so much for joining. Stay safe. Bye.